Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining in on the HelloNote Clinic Talk podcast. So we have an awesome guest today, Daniel C. Brown from DCB Physical Therapy out in Boulder, Colorado. Daniel, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me today, Steve.
Awesome. Thank you for joining. So Daniel has been with HelloNote for about 2 years now. He's been with us since also we transitioned from HelloNote 1.0 to 2.0. So we'll talk a little bit about that and also how Daniel progressed with his business and we'll take it from there. So Daniel, do you want to introduce yourself? Let us know a little bit of background on who you are and how you came to be with owning DCB Physical Therapy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually went to the University of Kentucky, and then I
Hmm.
worked at a outpatient private practice clinic as well as at Vanderbilt in Nashville, Tennessee for the first 6 years of my career. Then moved to Boulder,
Hmm.
Colorado, got more involved with private practice. I have my board certification in orthopedics. I treat a high level, high amount of high level athletes, triathletes, cyclists, and
Cool.
runners, which is pretty much a really common population here in Boulder. But I also like to treat the mom and pops and, all the great people who make up the older population who are still, out there trying to be functional. I have certification in spinal manipulative therapy. I do a lot of dry needling for my clients, blood flow restriction. So I would say that, again, my slogan's kind of orthopedic optimization, but really what I want to do is just make people optimized and perform as best as they can. It doesn't matter if you're, a high school student on the swim team or if you're an older person just trying to hike up the mountain.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Daniel. And do you operate out of a brick and mortar or do you do in home?
So when I first started my DCB physical therapy, which I'm an independent, sole practitioner,
Hmm.
I was kind of a hybrid model. So I was going to people's houses,
Yeah.
treating Medicare clients, getting some referrals, and then also doing it's kind of a hybrid model where I was in a clinic space where I subletted the space with some massage
Hmm.
therapists and chiropractors, which was interesting. It was a great way to start
Cool.
without having to commit to, the high prices of rent, especially here in Colorado.
Oh
So
yeah.
that was great. Now I have a brick and mortar and I work with two separate gyms. So I always have a
Hmm.
place to put my clients. And it's great. Everything's within about a mile and a half distance here in Boulder. So I can walk to work in the summer and it's
Awesome.
great.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Daniel. So let's backtrack from before. What were you using before you chose HelloNote? Were you using like paper documentation, or was it I know
Mhm.
some people use Google Suite. What did that look like? And then why did you choose HelloNote?
Yeah, essentially, I was using paper documentation and I was working a little bit with WebPT at the old private practice I was at before
Hmm.
I transitioned. Although when I transitioned, what was challenging for me to find as a sole practitioner with my own practice and only treating 20 to 30 clients a week, it was difficult to find anybody that would accept and give me a contract with such a
Hmm.
small amount of patient load. And
Yeah.
so I basically got dropped from WebPT. And paper documentation just didn't cut it because I started accepting Medicare clients. I was getting referrals. I needed something that I could not only document, but I needed facts. I needed support. I needed billing, and nothing really was accessible to me. And I was really upset and I was kind of confused. And then I talked to HelloNote and they were like, oh, we do all of that. And of course, we'd be happy to help you. And I was like, well, thank you, because I consider myself the growing kind of, practitioner in at least this region, is there's a lot of individual private practices. And for me to accept insurance and to be able to be compliant, I need all of those things that you guys offer. And I was so super happy to get onboarding with the 1.0. It was, super helpful. I had a really great support from the team because obviously I had a lot of questions when any PT's doing this for the first
Yeah.
time. And it was really beneficial. And so now, I'm proud to say that, I do all my own billing, I do all my own documentation, I fax and send plans to
That's awesome.
connects me better with physicians. It's more personalized, has my logo on there, and it's been a really great experience from start to finish. So I'm definitely grateful for that. And again, like that was kind of one of the only fews that gave me an opportunity, and for an affordable, price. Like I said, there were
Yeah.
some options, but they were more priced for people who had 3 or 4 practitioners that were seeing 100 plus clients a month. And
Yeah.
again, HelloNote had some scalability for me for where I'm at in my practice then and where I'm currently at today.
Awesome. Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate that feedback. And yeah, as you said, I mean, look, this type of practitioner like yourself is our bread and butter a lot of times, where we want to take care of those providers that are trying to scale. They don't have yet, multiple clinics and like, multiple therapists. So definitely appreciate that feedback. And yeah, a lot of demos that we do, and they don't know that something like that exists, right? And yeah, I'm a therapist, and we do have therapists that also operate HelloNote, and we use it for our own clinics, right? So we have to make sure that it fits the model and kind of goes back to our core as to take care of the therapist that doesn't want to spend $1,000 a month on a system for an all-in-one platform.
Yeah,
So definitely appreciate that feedback. And as you said, now you're doing your own billing, right? And there's so many practitioners out there that are so scared of doing billing,
no,
right?
they're
And
they're terrified
they
of it. Yeah,
they're terrified, right? And it is a scary thing because you hear that, oh, Medicare, this and that, and then they took money away. And then we have clients now that are so proud to send us emails with like a statement from Medicare that they passed audits. They're sending that to us, and they're so happy, and we're obviously proud of that. So it's not that scary once you get trained and you kind of dip into it, right? From the perspective of never taking insurance to now taking it, and you get to save money by not hiring a biller to do it yourself, right?
yeah, absolutely. I mean that saves quite a bit because either you're paying a
Yeah,
percentage or you're paying, an hourly rate, and that really adds up,
absolutely.
especially again when X amount of clients per week are insurance billed. I mean, it really adds up. So I really
It
like
adds
taking
up.
time off. And I've enjoyed it as a clinician. It's like every Friday I do my billing. It only takes a couple hours, and I enjoy that personal time to just sit back and not be in the clinic and say, oh yeah, like I'm going to crush this. I get to do this. Like I don't have to have somebody else that's bugging me about this. I get to do it my way. And I really love that autonomy of doing
Yeah.
everything on.
100%. So I love that. I love that you mentioned that because essentially, as a business owner, you're also not only treating, you're wearing a hat as to running a practice. So that self-fulfillment is also huge, right? It gets you motivated. And look, there's nothing wrong to also hire someone as you grow too, but that's a decision that you can make, right? Not somebody
Absolutely.
else, making it for you, not saying, oh yeah, you need to get a biller. Because the fact that you can do your own billing just shows us you can be efficient, right, in treating your patients and running your practice.
Absolutely.
So
And
yeah.
it's not for everybody, but at the same time, I would recommend every therapist to know how to do that because if I don't
Yeah.
understand the insurance company codes, if I don't understand,
Yeah.
in Avalon, how like if my errors are there, like what to do,
Yep.
if I don't understand that, how can I run a practice if I don't know my billing person's doing it
Yeah.
correctly? So now that I know from, the ground up of, having that autonomy, when I do grow enough, if I choose that, I can have somebody else do that, but I'm going to know that they're doing it correctly because again, I'm the therapist. I'm the one putting in those
Exactly.
CPT codes. I'm sending out the evaluation. Again, I need to know how and why we get paid. And so it's really beneficial to understand that. And 90 probably plus 99% of therapists don't understand that. They just go to work, they type their
Yeah.
notes, complain
Yep.
about documentation, then they go home. But really actually
Yep.
understanding what goes on that side, I think is valuable. And I think we should take more control as PTs to learn that because that's part of our profession. And unfortunately, but it is, and once we
That's
understand
true.
that,
That's true.
again, we can advocate for what we want and how those things work and hopefully continue to push our profession forward.
100%. So yeah, I like that you said that. You understand the how and why of doing billing because you get to make your decisions. And when you if and when you do hire someone, you know exactly what questions to ask. Whereas, if you don't know what you're doing, how do you know you're getting reimbursed properly?
Yeah,
And you're kind of
exactly.
trusting your financials, right? So I love that. Thank you, Daniel. So with using an all-in-one system, right? So as you mentioned, not only treating patients, now you have, a hat to wear where you're running your own practice and doing your billing. How did that improve your essentially efficiency in treating patients and essentially running your clinic?
Yeah, I mean, again, it just gave me that confidence. So when a physician sent me a referral, whether it's a United Healthcare client, whether it's a
Hmm.
Medicare client, Like I know that that's already in my system. I can put their
Yep.
information in and I'm ready to go. I can start them, the next day. And again, as a solo practitioner, I can get those clients in quickly. So having that confidence of just having everything there, knowing if I want to send a plan to care or research to a physician, that fax is there, it's going to send it to them. It's all personalized. Again, it helps not only helps my business from exposure standpoint of personalization, but it also helps my business from just having that confidence of, okay, yep, I see that. I can treat that. I accept that. Come on in. Let's get it over with versus
Awesome.
having to worry about, hey, even people are always like,
Yeah.
you should outsource your work to the Philippines, $8 an hour. And I see these, people at the conferences and it's like, yeah, but that's somebody else I got to deal with and somebody else that I got to worry about. And again, I can just do it immediately and it doesn't take that long. It's just like any software. If you become efficient with the tech, which you guys are really simple and straightforward, you can become more efficient in how you input the information and how you process that. So again, for me, it's an extra 5 to 10 minutes per client getting everything in there and getting that note started. But at the same time, that's not that much time when you think about it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it just allows me more autonomy and ability to be efficient and get those people in and have confidence that I can get it done and communicate with the client, the physician, and everybody, and yep, start the plan of care immediately.
Yeah, no, as you said, I mean, you get to have the autonomy to do everything yourself. So I love that, and that impacts how you run your practice and essentially patient care. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Daniel, on that. So going back to some features, what are features in HelloNote? I know you mentioned already a few of them, but are there any other features other than the documentation, e-faxing, and billing that you would say improves your flow and how you run your business? And
Yeah,
I
I
know
would
we
say
have
that.
a lot of features. I know there's,
Sure,
you know,
sure.
we
But
actually
those are
just had a meeting. Yeah, go ahead,
uh-huh.
Daniel.
Well, those three are the best because they provide everything that you have to have for,
Yeah.
like a successful practice, especially if you're taking insurance. But I do like the evaluation templates. I love, like, I've created all the templates. And again, like taking that information, let's say if I have a right knee replacement or a left knee
Hmm.
replacement or a right
Yeah.
shoulder or a left hip or a right ankle, I have all those templates already pre-filled out. And so now when I have that client, and it probably took a year to get all the different variations and then doing the
Yep.
evaluations, but saving that template like saves me an immense amount of time. It takes an eval,
Yep.
it reduces that time by 70% because you have the same body part, you have a similar
Yep.
diagnosis, you have similar objective measurements that are all put there. You have your special testing and you have your outcome measures, and you guys have all the outcome measures, everything there. Again, so all I have to do is fill that out, change some of the numbers because it's the same body part, and then boom, eval, put in my minutes, add the assessment and subjective, and I'm
And you're
done.
good.
I,
Yep. Yep.
as a
Absolutely.
practitioner, that's the most important thing to me is efficiency with my documentation, and having those
Hmm.
ready-made templates are a game changer. And I'd spent some time, a couple hours, like creating all of those, but again, it saved me immense time every time I have evaluation. I've got that body part, I pick it, I'm
Yep.
already 70% done with it, which is awesome.
Yep. Yep. You can't complain about that. Essentially, it's an investment, right, of your time. You set it up how you need it, and then you get to use it, and it saves you a ton of time. So you get to reap the benefits once you create it. Awesome. No, that's great, and I appreciate that from a kind of a therapist perspective as well, because we do have meetings and different clients, and sometimes they kind of forget about the therapist side, right? They're like, oh, I want this feature, I want that, and we have it, and that's what they really love. But going back to the basics of documentation, you can't forget that, right? Because you are treating the patient. So I do appreciate that, and we and as we evolve, right, we also have to think about automation, right? How we can streamline and automate different factors because we have so many features, right? And sometimes on team meetings, we try to prioritize things like what is high priority feature, what is medium, what is low, right? But everyone runs their practice differently, and it seems like with AI now, right? So things are getting much more efficient, and of course we're doing our own research and implementation. We actually have a new something new coming out called the HelloNote Auto AI, where we're going to be taking AI, combining that with automation, and then allowing you, and again, to give you autonomy, we can't say here, use this, right? You have to decide what you want to use. And part of those features include automatic plan of care sending and generation, right? So this way, again, I know it takes a couple seconds, right? So you save your note, you click eFax, you provider, press send, right? But once everything's automated, that just opens up a whole kind of world of possibilities because now you're saving a little bit of time from everything and it gives you extra couple hours a day. Like you said,
Yeah.
every week it takes you an hour or so to do billing. Well, now, what if you had that extra couple hours not to do billing and you focus on something else? Whether you want it for your personal time or put it back into your business, that's up to you, right? We shouldn't be the ones to force anything. We want to make sure that we give you the tools necessary to run your business how you want to run it, right?
Yep.
So I
Uh,
appreciate that. Documentation is a huge component.
I
Have
appreciate
you
you
thought about AI like
saying that
for
too.
documentation?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, there's so many companies. Again, I work for an AI company actually doing some consulting.
Ah,
So, which was funny
awesome.
because we implemented remote therapeutic monitoring, and I actually
Hmm.
think you guys, another great thing about HelloNote is that the customer service. Like if I email you guys within 24 hours, you get back, and it's a real person. But
Appreciate it.
you guys had just implemented RTM codes, but you didn't have the
Yeah.
actual like it was nobody was using it yet. So there wasn't any like times or there was, a couple things that needed to
Yeah.
change. So I emailed and said, hey, like I see that you have RTM available, but I'm not sure how, like I can't implement it into the plan of care, which is showing up with the minutes. And they're like, da da da, hold
Hmm.
on. And within like 24 hours, they fixed that. And there's probably a high possibility I was the first person to ever bill RTM codes through HelloNote, like
Awesome.
last
I love
year, I
that.
think. So that was cool. But yeah, definitely AI is whether you like it or not, people have to accept it because it's coming and that's where all that investment's going. So again, I think
Yep.
what you said is great too, is, yes, it can allow us more time to be with our patients, to grow our practice, but it can also allow us more time to do personal things like what we want. My goal as a
Yeah.
practice is to grow and have 20 clinics and sell out, which I think is the kind of way of the past.
Yep.
And my goal is to have more free time with my family, spend time with my family, spend time with my fiance, travel.
Yep.
Like that's what I started my private practice for autonomy. Yes,
Yeah.
obviously I have to make, a certain threshold to, make sure I'm hitting all my, putting all my not putting all my eggs in one basket, but being able to retire on time, being able to, make financially the right decisions to live in a place like Boulder. But at the same time, like, again, money and success isn't what's driving me is efficiency, loving my patients, enjoying my life, and having a quality practice. And I'm being able to do that. So again, if AI can help with that and allow me a little bit more time to spend with my clients, but also time to spend with my family and do things that are important, like it's a game changer. So yeah, I appreciate you saying
Awesome.
it's not only
Yeah.
about, especially my generation. I'm old, I'm 37, but again, like I think I'm at that point where there's this transition where, the older
Yeah.
crowd is like working 60 hours a week, build your practice, and the younger crowd's like,
Yep.
well, we don't want to work Fridays and
It's
I
a
only want to
different
work 20 hours a
generation.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that's okay. I think again, we have to adapt to what's out there, and we have to create, products to help everybody. We don't have to be the same as our parents' generation for sure. So I think I'm stuck right in between where I see both, and I definitely value my time more than I value like a little bit of extra money.
Awesome. Yeah, no, well said. Well said. Yeah, and as you said, you get to make that decision, right? Everyone's different and we should be able to adapt, right? And yeah, with AI, so much funding is going into that. It's not going to go away. It's only going to be more prominent. And I know there was resistance in the beginning. I think when ChatGPT made it public, everyone's like they didn't know what was going on, but then they start
Yeah,
using it and they're like, this is insane. You're like, how does it know to respond? And it's so accurate, and it's only getting better, right?
yeah,
It's
it's
only getting better, and truthfully, it's not going away, right? So we have to adapt, and as a software company, as HelloNote evolves, now we have to start thinking of the time because it's true. I mean, the money kind of is a separate aspect, but to a lot of practitioners that open up their practice, honestly, it was the time that they wanted to save. Like by opening up your business, and we have tons of therapists that did this, they were getting overworked of 40, 50 hours a week. And now
absolutely.
they can work half that amount running their business and billing directly to the insurance. And now they have 20 hours a week, just free time. And they don't want to grow more. To them, that's just what they
100%.
want. They just
And
want
I make
the
and
20
I
hours
make this
free.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And by doing that and taking out your boss who has to have all this stress and running this company with all these people
Yeah.
and complaining to you about you're not billing the right codes and you're not billing enough and you need to do this, you
Productivity,
need more
right?
clients. Yeah, I've burnt out. I've been a practitioner for 12 years. I've burnt out twice in my career. And
Mm,
70, 80 clients a week I did that for years. burnt out, then went back to it, got burnt out again because I just said, well, shit, when I'm seeing, 60, 70 clients a week
Yeah.
and I'm only getting paid in, an $80,000, $90,000 a year salary with bonus, but I realize how much, because how much those billable codes are worth and how many clients I'm seeing. It's like,
Yeah.
what's the point? And then so I, scaled
Yeah.
back. Now I can work the half the amount, but I mean, really make the same amount of money. And it's
Exactly. Yeah.
like, wow, like how great is that? I mean, if people hear that, you don't think you can do it. I mean, obviously you can because you're seeing that paradigm shift, and again, it's harder for practitioners to hire client, hire good PTs right now because again, like it's a lot. We give a lot and doing that for
Yeah.
40 plus hours a week, it's challenging.
100%. Also, I also got burned out, right? I was also working at a skilled nursing facility as well. Like, you just throw so much is thrown at you, right? So now you have to treat the patient. And the reason you went to school to become a therapist is to treat and help patients, right? And by being burned out, that does a disservice to you and to your patients because now you don't want to treat patients. So I think by opening up your practice and with you being successful where you are, you could see that where now you're actually happy treating patients and patients feel that, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's a
Show
win-win,
up,
right?
show
So
up. Yeah,
so appreciate that.
push, yeah, push the profession forward in such a good way. And again, I'm
Yeah.
excited for more of the AI to come out. I just went to a conference for private practice section actually this past weekend, and
Hmm.
it was a bunch of older individuals, but they think AI is only Chat GPT, and it's like, oh, I use
Yeah.
AI in my practice. I like type emails with Chat GPT, and I'm just like,
Yep.
oh my gosh, there's
Uh,
so much more that I could do. There's motion analysis, tracking, obviously the stuff with Bill.
100%.
But, again, I think right now the biggest benefit is going to be with the therapist, benefiting the therapist and letting them utilize what they want to do with their time. But as things continue to progress, we're going to see that benefit with the client and the therapist interaction and objective measurements and, again, outcomes. So I think, again, people have no idea what's coming, but it's going to be really exciting to see what the future holds.
Awesome. Yeah. Appreciate that. Cool. So to wrap things up a bit, I know you had a huge milestone where you went from before working for somebody to opening up your own practice, and then you were subleasing. Now you have your own. So what other milestones did you hit since joining HelloNote? Do you have any kind of goals that you set up for yourself and you hit them, or just achievements that you can share?
I would just say again, it goes back to that autonomy and being able to connect and like have, brick and mortar, but also just have the presence of like, again, my business. I haven't thought about
Yeah.
expanding. Like DCB is totally me, Daniel Carlisle Brown, but at the same
Hmm.
time, like that branding and that, sole practitioner and that quality of care I can give to my clients, like my physician referrals, they know that. They know when I send that fax, it's from me and it's only me.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
clients know when they come in, if I send them an HEP or utilize this stuff, they always know what they're going to get with the referral. So again, I think it's helped complete the aspect of my practice that I didn't have when I first started, when I was kind of just going to people's house with a table in my car. And yeah, it's just
Yeah.
kind of facilitated a an overall just well-being of just like, okay, and now I have everything and I have complete autonomy and I can accept these clients. Like I can take on referrals and when people contact me again, I prefer cash, everybody does, but I love the
Yep.
aspect is insurance gets me more clients. The reimbursement's not great as the cash, but it's still, again, I can modify that to my liking. Again, they just get a little bit less time, but they still get a better quality treatment and a better session than they would somewhere else. So it's just
Yeah.
allowed me the autonomy to do that and bill and have those connections and relationships with physicians, and it gets my name out there more. And every time I send that fax, I can
Branding.
see that.
Branding is huge. Yeah.
And so yeah, it's definitely helped with that. So I'd say again, it adds to my overall autonomy and success of my practice and confidence of that. I know whatever comes at me, I'm able to handle it.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks. And what would you say your long-term goal for your practices?
Yeah, it's great because I actually just journaled about this morning. But my goal, like we were talking about legacy at the conference that I went to this past week, and a lot of the older people were like, "Yeah, but my legacy is I have 15 clinics and this," and I'm like, "Well, but
Hmm.
you quit practicing 5 years in, you haven't seen a patient in 20 years. You just manage these things. My
Yeah.
legacy is to be a great therapist, and for people to say DCB or Daniel is an awesome therapist. I love seeing him. He knows me, he knows my community, he treats me with passion, respect. and gives great care and great outcomes. So, I love like when I treat somebody, then I treat their kids, then I treat their parents, then I treat their grandparents, or like
Yeah.
this, it's this community that's really involved. And, so for me, my legacy right now is just being able to spend time with my family, enjoy my life, and continuing.
Yeah.
Again, it's not broke, don't fix it. I'm so happy with the way my practice and life is going. And again, I value my time. I value skiing in the winter and golfing in the summer and quality relationships
Awesome.
with my friends and family. So I would say the only thing other than that would be probably be maybe a little bit more communicative with physicians. But again, the only reason that I'm holding back on that is because I actually don't need more referrals because my practice is going so great. I don't need to spend that time advertising and doing those things. But if I did want to grow, that would be like my next step is to do more outreach, and take them lunch and all that stuff. But again, right now it's not
Cool.
broke, so I'm really enjoying what I'm doing and I'm happy. So why change?
Yeah, no, no, well said. That's exactly it. Awesome. So just last question, and again, very appreciative of you bringing HelloNote to your practice and sharing your experience. So just for others that are listening, would you recommend HelloNote from a perspective of someone just starting out,
Yeah,
or that they already have a practice, or both?
Yeah, 100%. I would say, again, I don't know how the scaling works. However, if it works for one person, it's going to work for everybody, right? It's simple. I've
Mhm.
used every single documentation system known to man, working in hospitals with Epic,
Yeah,
working at private practices with everything from prompt to, WebPT. But again, everything has different features, but HelloNote is by
yeah,
far the most simple and easy to use and direct. And that's what I want as a practitioner. And again, from a price point, you guys were the only people that would let me come on as a sole practitioner. So I'm super grateful for that. And again, regardless, like the cost is honestly very, very, very affordable. And it essentially, I mean, if again, it makes me money essentially because I'm able to
yep,
have more clients, bill more with confidence, get those things. You guys have great support. So yeah, I'm super grateful. That's why I chose to, kind of do the interview. I was like, you know what? They've been really good to me. And even I was at PPS and I saw you guys at a booth and I talked to,
yeah,
I can't remember her name, but she was a really sweet lady. She's from New York. And I was like, oh yeah, you guys are great. I love you guys so much. And I said, hey, I paid a year in full. Can you guys give me like, you guys want, she was like, yeah, I'll take care of you. Don't worry. And she like emailed me, the next week. So just having that like relationship of just trusting like,
yeah.
oh, these are real people. And I'm not getting some call center, overseas. It's fantastic. So I appreciate your all's work. And like I said, that's part of the reason why I wanted to come on here today, because I'm a huge advocate for HelloNote and grateful for the kind of opportunity it's given me, because like I said, I'm very happy and I don't need to change a thing right now. So, and even if I expanded, I would know I'd be able to do that confidently with you guys. So thank you.
Awesome. No, thank you. Appreciate it, Daniel. It's therapists and practice owners like you that make us kind of known, because our biggest referral source is our own clients,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
definitely appreciate you doing that. I loved learning about you and where you are with your practice, and yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
super happy you are where you want to be. Because that achievement is not something a lot of people can say in different industries. But being a therapist and actually opening up your own practice and not having to spend a ton of money to do that, and they get to enjoy what they do, is unique and rare. So definitely appreciate that. Appreciate sharing with us and everyone. And yeah, we'll be in touch, Danielle. And if there's anything else you need from us, you know where to find us, and we'll continue to look forward to scaling with you. So
Yeah,
thank you very much, Daniel.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate it. Appreciate your
Over in
time.
Boulder, if you're over in Boulder, let me know. We'll take you for a hike, bike ride, whatever you're into. So we have it
Uh,
all.
you know, I'll take you up on that as well. Like I don't ski much, but I tried. But you know what? I did hear there's nothing like it in Colorado as well.
It's
So
it's a special
so
experience
yeah,
for sure. Getting out there on the
yeah.
mountain for.
Awesome, awesome. All right, Daniel. Thank you. Appreciate your time, and yeah, we'll speak to you soon.
All right, thanks you,
Thank
Steve.
you.
Have a great day.